What's going on, everybody? Richard here. I've decided to add something to the farm, and I bet you'll never be able to guess what it is. Well, maybe. I've decided to add a few beehives to the farm. As you can see, I got 3 hives here. Got a real good deal on it from a guy out here in our neighborhood, so I decided, why not? Let's give it a try and do our part for the environment and for the gardens. So this is the setup we got going on here. I know nothing about beekeeping, so for the last week or two I've been studying and doing all my research. And this book right here has been a lifesaver. You know, I'm all about educating yourself, and I listen to audiobooks and whatnot, but I haven't read a book in a while, and luckily when I picked this one up, I still remember how to read, so we're good. But anyway, this book has been a lifesaver, and I've been learning a lot, and just want to share with you guys what I've learned so far. I'm going to get rid of the suit if that's alright. It's kind of warm in here. But anyway, I'm going to give you a quick rundown of what we got going on here. So I got it set up for 3 hives. This year I think I'm only going to try 1 hive since I'm new at it. And we're just going to see how that turns out. Just going to kind of take the hive apart and show you what I got. Right here we got the hive top. Obviously this goes on top of the hive. It helps keep out moisture and rain and any other predators from trying to get in the top of it. We got another top cover that goes right underneath. For the most part, this keeps the bees in. Sometimes you'll get them come up through this hole and they'll be on the top under the outer cover, but for the most part it just keeps them down in the hive. This top box right here, this is where all the honey's made. This is called a honey super. The worker bees will come up into this box after they've got everything that they need down there, and they'll come up in here, and this is where the honey for us is stored. As you can see, these are used hives, or used honeybee frames, but they've still got some honey and some comb on them. But these have already been harvested before, so they aren't completely new. But as you can see, here's a frame right here. This side's new; it's never been used, but this side has some comb buildup on it. I'm probably going to end up using this frame because it takes the bees a while to build this comb up here, and then once the comb's built up, that's where they start getting down inside the comb, and that's where the queen will lay her eggs, or that's where they'll store the pollen or the honey, and that's where everything's produced. So see, this side doesn't have any comb built on it yet, so that's going to take them a little while to get built up. So I'm probably going to use a frame that's already got some comb on it, so that way it's less work for them, so they start producing some honey a little bit faster. The boxes that I've got here are 10 frame hives. They've got 10 frames in there. So like I said, this is going to be the honey super. This is where all your honey's stored, and this is the honey that I'm going to harvest. Right here, they call this queen excluder. What this does is you set it on top of your brood boxes, between your brood boxes and your honey super, and this keeps the queen from going up out of her box into the honey box and laying eggs or larvae in your honey, because I don't really want that. So some people use that and some people won't. I think I'm going to give it a try this year and see how it works. The way it works is, as you can see, it's got some stuff on it, but the worker bees are small enough to fit through the screen, so they can come in the bottom and up to the top to take in the pollen that they need, but the queen bee is too big to fit through this, so she can't fit through this to get up into the top super. So I think I'm going to give this a try. From what I've learned, some people don't. Some people do use it, but I'm going to give it a try and see how it works, just because I don't want the queen up there laying eggs in my honey. Your next two boxes are they're called brood chambers or large supers. This is where all the work happens. This is where your queen's going to hang out, and this is where all your worker bees are going to come up and bring in their pollen and all that good stuff. In these boxes, this is where your queen's going to be doing all her work. She'll be laying all of her eggs in here, and the male bees will come up and fertilize them so they can all hatch. Yeah, here's, as you can see, here's another used frame. It's got a lot of comb built up. The guy I bought it from harvested these ones just last year, so that's a used frame right there. I can't remember the exact statistics from what I read, but the queen bee lays like hundreds, if not thousands, of eggs a day. Don't quote me on that for sure, but I know it's a lot. So she's gonna be busy. But yeah, you have your two hives. When I'm first starting out, I'm just gonna use this very first hive until it gets established. So what I'm gonna do, there's a couple different ways to purchase your bees. You can get them in a bundle with all the bees and the queen. I'm gonna get what's called a 5-frame nuke. What that is it's going to be just 5 of these frames that I'm going to buy from a beekeeper. It's going to come with the queen and all the worker bees for that one frame. The good thing to that is the bees will have already accepted the queen, and they're already going to have frames that are already going to have pollen started and comb started and honey, and they're already going to have eggs in the frame. So it's a really good way to get your hive started. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a 5-frame nuke, is what they call it. And when you're first starting out, you only need to start out with one box to get it established. So I'm just going to, when I get it, this first box here, I'm just going to remove 5 frames out of it. And then the 5 frames that I get from the beekeeper that are already established, just going to slide those 5 frames right into the place of these ones. And then that's going to get the hive going real good. Real quick, while I got it down, I'll just show you this. This is we got a base down here that the hive sits on, and then we've got the other part of it. This is the screen part. This just sits at the bottom of the hive, just so airflow can get up into the hive. When you first get started, they come with these, I just forgot exactly what they're called, but they're blocks. As you can see, this one's got a wider frame and this one's got a narrow frame. This one's going to go at the bottom of the hive. I'll just show you real quick. This is just going to slide in here at the bottom of the hive. And this is going to just reduce the size of the entrance. This right here is where all your bees are going to go. They go into the bottom of the hive, and then they work their way up to the top. When I first get the hive started, I'm going to use a small notch. Sorry, right there. And then there's a bigger notch. But I'm going to use a small notch. It just helps out with less robber bees trying to get in, and it's just smaller space while the hive's getting established, for the bees to get in and out and just be able to get the hive established. Bear with me with the camera. I don't got a cameraman, so I'm just trying to figure this all out. So yeah, what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna start out with this first super box or brood chamber, whatever you want to call it. Like I said, when the bees get here, I'll remove 5 of these frames, and then we'll just put the bees in here and get them established. So for the first few weeks, what this is going to look like is I'm just going to have my first brood chamber with the cover, and then I'm going to have my top cover on top of that. So for the first for the first little while, I'm just going to have the single hive. And then as they start to outgrow that hive and fill those frames with combs and start to outgrow that, then I'll add another one on top, and then by the time that one's full, I'll add the honey super. I've read a little bit. It just depends. Sometimes the first year while the hive's getting established, I'm not sure if I'll get honey right off the bat. But I guess we'll see, because what the bees do is they'll store honey down in here as well, and that's what they eat, and then any excess, then they'll go up and then they'll start taking care of the top hive. So we're just gonna wait and see if I end up getting some honey this year. Where I'm at, I don't got any gardens planted yet. I've just got a lot of sagebrush, but the bees will fly in a big radius, and I've got some pretty good alfalfa fields around here, and there's people with lots of gardens, so I'm hoping that'll help out and we'll get a good hive established this year. I just put the deposit down on my honeybee super. It's going to be getting started around April-ish is when I'm going to go down, and the beekeeper's going to show me some stuff, and we're going to build my nuke, and he's going to let that get established and make sure he's got good brood pattern and it's got good comb and everything for about a month. And then depending on the weather, probably around April-ish, May, I'll head up and I'll pick up my nuke frame and bring it down, and that's when the hive's going to get established. Still got a lot to learn, but what do you do, right? You just do it. Got a couple different feeders I'm going to try out. This one's a frame feeder. I don't know how well I like these. We'll see. Just it takes the space of one of your frames, and you just slide it down in the hive, and then you fill this with sugar water, and the bees can go down in there and get the sugar water and what they need. One thing I kind of have read about this, and I can see why people don't like them, is to refill them, you gotta disturb the hive. You gotta take the cover off and everything and get in the hive and pull this out. For that reason, I don't know if I'm gonna necessarily use those or not. I got a different type of feeder here I'm probably gonna try. This is a hive top feeder. This can fit a lot of the feed. You just fill both sides with the feed, and then the bees can come up through the bottom. It's all open into the screen, and they can fly up into the screen here and get the sugar water is probably what I'm going to fill in it. They can climb up in there and get the sugar water, and then take it back down into the hive and do what they need to with it. So I think I'm going to try this. This just sits right on the top of the hive, right on top of your brood chamber, right on top of the honey box. So that way all you got to do with that one is pull it off, fill it up, and then set it on. You don't got to worry too much about disturbing the hive. So I think I'm going to give that one a try. That seems to be my best bet. And then when the winter months hit, before it gets too cold, I'll fill this full, and then this should last them a good majority of the winter, so they can make it through. I think that's about all I got. I'll just show you this. This is what a brand new frame looks like. There's no comb or nothing on that. That's brand new. So the bees will just start building this up with their comb and doing their job in there. I also got a smoker here. I kind of got mixed feelings on these. I've watched a few different videos. Some people like to use them, some people don't. Usually what they do right before you get in the hive, you'll just light up the smoker, and then this will puff out smoke, and you just go around the hive entrance and around the top. And then once you take the cover off, if you just go around the top, it makes the bees go away. It kind of stuns them, I guess, from my understanding. Some people don't like to do it just because it causes stress on the bees. So I think I'm gonna try to get away from doing it. If there's anyone watching this that has any suggestions about that, I'd love that. But I guess we'll see what happens. But yeah, I'm excited to see what's gonna happen. I never thought I'd get so excited about honeybees, but they're actually pretty interesting. I've been doing some reading and there's a big shortage of them. So I'm gonna do my part and try to get them established so they'll be able to help the environment. They'll be able to help with my garden pollination once I get my garden going. And best part of all, I'll be getting some honey. Usually, if it's a good year off a hive, you can get anywhere from 20 to 60 pounds of honey off of one hive. So that's quite a bit of honey. Like I said, I got 3 hives here. Probably only going to try one this year, see how it works out, and then if I have a good year and if I can catch on to it, I'll definitely be adding some more hives to the mix. But yeah, I just wanted to take a minute and show you guys what I got going on here, and just keep following along. As soon as I pick the bees up here in a month or two, I guess it'll probably be about 2 or 3 months, but definitely going to post a video on that 5-frame nook I'll be getting, and I'll be putting those frames in, and I'll show you guys all about that. But in the meantime, I'm just going to keep reading and learning all that I can learn. So if you guys have any comments or anything you'd like to add, just drop them in the comments, and just like and share this video, and we'll see where it goes from here. Thanks, guys.